Last year, I made a predictions video on what I thought would happen with crypto in 2023. At the time, prices were massively down because of the collapse of FTX, and pretty much nobody wanted to invest in crypto. Some of those predictions at the time sounded absolutely insane, but have turned out to be pretty dang spot on. And I'll be covering those and showing receipts to prove that I said them, because some of them are literally almost unbelievable how spot on that they turned out to be. So I'll be showing the receipts as well. But I'm also going to be diving into my 2024 predictions and what I think is going to happen over this next year. And if my last year is any track record, I did do a really good job over 2023. So hopefully I also do a good job over 2024. I got some pretty crazy predictions, so we'll see. Last cycle, overall with my entire portfolio, I was able to do around 4,000%. In this cycle, I have three different goals. My lower goal is to make 1,000% on my overall portfolio. My mid goal is to make 5,000% on my overall portfolio. And my upper stretch goal is to make 10,000% on my entire portfolio. And so far, just to kind of mark my progress, I'm up 207% this cycle. And with that, prediction number one that I made last year about 2023 was I said that the market was wrong. I said that the prices were depressed and that actually they weren't going to go lower, but that it was a huge opportunity for jumping in. Crypto has crashed. Everyone's left. The experts are proclaiming that crypto is dead. It's time to sell all your crypto. And that means if history repeats itself again, we are potentially on the cusp of one of the greatest wealth building opportunities of our lifetime. And there's some insanely compelling reasons to believe that in 2023, 2024, and 2025, we're going to see some big moves up in the crypto market. Bitcoin's price at that time was $16,836, and Ethereum's price was $1,250. Prediction number two that I made last cycle was I said that Bitcoin and Ethereum would at least double in 2023 leading up to the halving. Why I think 2023 has the potential to see Bitcoin and ETH double in value. And keep in mind, all of these predictions were made right after FTX collapsed, right when everyone was at peak fear. Everyone was saying Bitcoin was going below 10K. Mainstream media was saying that crypto was dead, and the vast majority of crypto influencers ended up pivoting to like AI and a bunch of other stuff. At that same exact time, I was saying that over the next year, Bitcoin and Ethereum would double in price, which, was crazy at the time. And obviously, Bitcoin has more than doubled, going as high as $44,000, and Ethereum has nearly doubled, going as high as $2,358. Prediction number three, I said, was that 12 months before the halving, we would see the price of Bitcoin start to trend upwards. Historically, what we see is 12 months before the halving, the price of Bitcoin starts to trend up. And this has happened in this exact same way for every Bitcoin halving that there's ever been. 12 months before a Bitcoin halving, the price of Bitcoin starts to trend up. That would mean that if Bitcoin follows the exact same pattern, we should start seeing the price of Bitcoin trending up in April of 2023. And traditionally, Bitcoin is a leading indicator of the entire crypto market. So when Bitcoin goes up, eventually everything else goes up as well. And around 12 months and 3 weeks before the halving, we saw prices go from $20,000 per Bitcoin to $44,000 at its highest point. Prediction number four I made was that we would see something break in the financial system that would cause the Fed to have to intervene. There is a good chance that somewhere in our financial system right now, there is a massive weak point that is beginning to crumble. And the longer these high interest rates go on, the bigger risk that one of these weak points ends up breaking and the whole house of cards ends up coming down. We saw that in 2008 with the financial crisis and have the potential to see something break like that in 2023, although I'm sure it won't have to do with the housing market, it'll have to do with something else. And you can be sure that if something does break, our elected officials will scramble to fix it. And they will try to fix it the way that they try to fix all of their problems, which is by printing more money. 2 months later, we saw SVB collapse, along with a ton of banks that eventually resulted in the Fed providing credit to all these banks with massive losses on their balance sheet. The Bank Term Funding Program is what the Fed called it, and it allowed banks to take out a loan against their treasuries at their full expiration value rather than at their current market value due to the collapse in prices. Said more simply, the Fed turned on the money printer, which did overall have an impact on crypto prices, where we saw Bitcoin go from 20K to 30K just a month later. Prediction number five is actually pretty insane. I said that every major Wall Street company would offer a crypto product due to Wall Street greed. Now pile on top of all of this the fact that Wall Street is quietly in the background building out massive crypto on-ramps for traditional investors who up until this point haven't had easy enough access into the crypto crypto market. We have legacy companies like Fidelity feverishly building out crypto products that they can offer to their clients. Clients who are generally older and have substantially more wealth to invest, and I predict soon every legacy Wall Street firm will have some sort of crypto offering to offer their clients. And the reasoning is simple, and that's just because Wall Street is greedy. Wall Street makes their money by stocking their platforms with investment assets that people want to trade, and then charging you a fee when you do trade. So the more stuff you invest in, the more money they make. And just like a store, they want to stock their shelves with the financial products that are going to sell the best. They really don't care if they're selling you stocks, crypto, or a bag of rocks. As long as people are buying it and they're making money off the trading fees, they're happy. And they see the absolutely astronomical amount of money that these crypto exchanges are making, and they want to be making that. And next cycle, they're going to be far more prepared and excited to push these products to their customers. Then 6 months later, on June 15th, we saw BlackRock and every major Wall Street institution file for a Bitcoin ETF. As I said, you can always bet on Wall Street greed. My last two predictions were that at some point during the 2024 election cycle, we would see, first off, a candidate offering some sort of like stimulus, that they were promising some form of stimulus to voters. And the second one was that we would end up seeing some sort of rate cuts in 2024. Okay, so that's my 2023 prediction recap. I obviously nailed quite a few of those pretty dang good, I would say. And although maybe today you're like, those things are obvious, back then I can promise you these things were not obvious. When I made those predictions, again, people were making fun of me and laughing at me. They were not obvious. If they were obvious, then everyone would have been buying Bitcoin and ETH and been like, prices are going to go up. But that's not what people were doing. They were selling Bitcoin and ETH back then. They were selling everything. They were saying crypto was dead. So those were not obvious when I made those calls. Another way to look at it would be just ask yourself, if it's so obvious, why weren't you investing in crypto back then? Because the vast majority of you weren't investing in crypto back then. I'm sure some of you guys were, and those of you who were obviously know that it wasn't obvious. You were very contrarian with those bets at the time, and now you're getting to reap the rewards from that, which congratulations. That's an amazing thing. You pulled off something incredible. Okay, so now on to my 2024 predictions. First up, I still believe that we're going to see rate cuts in 2024. At this point, that's now like a pretty consensus and mainstream view. The Fed believes that there's going to be rate cuts in 2024. So this is not like a wild prediction anymore. This is like pretty normal. Like we're going to see rate cuts in 2024. And the Fed lowering rates is massively bullish for crypto. So that's prediction number one. That's not even really a prediction at this point. It's just going to happen. They're going to lower rates, massively bullish for crypto. Secondly, I still believe that one of the presidential candidates is going to come out and offer some form of stimulus for the average everyday American. When things get desperate, politicians just kind of make promises that they can't really keep or that they don't have to pay for, okay? A politician saying, I'm going to print money and send checks everyday Americans, going to be really popular with all the voters, okay? They don't really care, because they're just printing money from the Fed. They don't actually think that they're going to have any sort of consequences personally from that action, okay? So they're going to print money and they're going to send the check to America. That's what I think is going to happen. But if that happens, if they do send out stimulus checks, that is massively bullish for crypto. We saw what happened with that last time around. I expect the same thing to happen this time around. Some of that money is going to make its way into crypto, and it's going to be really bullish for asset prices. Thirdly, I think that a Republican is going to win the US presidential election, which would be incredibly bullish for crypto prices as far as like regulation and everything like that. The Democrats, for whatever reason, have just been the worst when it comes to crypto, and I think they're going to take some major L's this election cycle because of all the funding and money that's been poured by the crypto space into lobbying against them. I think all these anti-crypto politicians, we're going to see a lot of them go out of office. They've taken the wrong stance and they picked the wrong fight. There's some great Democrats that support crypto. Richie Torres, he's amazing. He supports crypto. There's probably others. He's the only one I know of. But hopefully there's going to be more of them soon, because this is a dumb stance to take. And crypto's fighting back. So I think we're going to see a lot more pro-crypto politicians in office. I think we're going to see a lot of these anti-crypto politicians leave office. And again, I'm not like super political. I'm not like super Republican or super Democrat or anything. I'm just like, hey, leave me alone, government. Let me do my thing. That's whatever that is, whatever kind of political alignment that is. Smaller government, stop interfering in my life. Let me do my thing and act like a grown adult. That's what I am. So overall, my prediction is during the 2024 election cycle, crypto wins big. We have a lot of pro-crypto candidates in office, and it's just really good as far as crypto regulation goes. If you want to know political candidates' crypto alignments, like if they're pro-crypto, anti-crypto, all of that, Coinbase has some great resources on this, and I'll put a link in the description of this video. Prediction number 4, I think that we're going to see Bitcoin break its all-time high in 2024. That means that I think the price of Bitcoin is going to go over $69,000 during 2024, and it's going to surpass its old all-time high. This will in part be driven by the ETF and all the hype and like kind of legitimacy that brings to Bitcoin, but also it's going to be driven by rate cuts. It's going to be driven by the halving. There's just a lot of really positive tailwinds that have come into the market suddenly, and all the headwinds that were holding Bitcoin back are just gone. And so this is just going to be a great year for Bitcoin. It's going to surpass its old all-time high, and that's my prediction. 2024, Bitcoin's going to surpass its old all-time high. And I have a lot more predictions to share in just a second, but really quick, I just opened back up the Obsidian Council after closing it last year, and I'm only opening it to the first 200 new signups. If you don't know, the Obsidian Council is my private community where I share monthly research, including my entire portfolio and updates on when I buy new projects. We've had projects like Akash, which is up 792% since sharing it, Rune, which is up 232% since sharing it, K&K, which is up 745% since sharing it, Wi-Fi, which is up 1,000% since sharing it, and Lake, which is up 652% since sharing it, as well as just a ton of others. We also have the airdrop guide, which some members made over $26,000 last year from airdrops alone, covering their entire membership for literally decades. Plus there's courses, resources, and just a ton of other tools to help you on your crypto investing journey. There's a link in the description if you want to sign up, and again, I'll be closing the group back down once we hit the 200 member cap. Prediction number 5, I think we're going to see Ethereum break its old all-time high in 2024 as well. Ethereum as an asset has some seriously solid fundamentals right now. Ethereum's supply is getting smaller every single day, so it's actually a deflationary asset. After the Bitcoin ETF, we have the ETH ETF, which is the next ETF to get approved, and I think we're going to see a lot of hype and a lot of focus on the ETH ETF after the Bitcoin ETF gets approved. The amount of ETH available on exchanges has gone down 52% since January 2021. In that same time frame, the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges has gone down 22%. So you can see the supply of ETH on exchanges is dropping at a much more rapid rate than even the supply of Bitcoin is dropping on exchanges. And that's even despite all this buying pressure from all these major institutions who have to have Bitcoin for their ETFs. So they've been buying all this Bitcoin for these ETFs. And even despite that, Ethereum is still declining at a faster rate as far as the supply available on exchanges. Prediction number 6 is that Ethereum overall outperforms Bitcoin in 2024. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see like Ethereum surpass the market cap of Bitcoin or anything like that. I'm just saying like in terms of appreciation, Ethereum is going to appreciate more than Bitcoin is able to appreciate in 2024. That in part has to do with the fact that Bitcoin is just a larger asset. For it to double in value takes a lot more work than for Ethereum, which is a smaller asset, to double in value. So I think overall Ethereum as an asset is going to outperform Bitcoin in 2024. Prediction number 7 is that we see the Bitcoin ETF approved by the first quarter of 2024. And this is another one that's pretty safe, pretty consensus, and pretty mainstream. Like I think most people in the crypto space know at this point that the ETF is going to get approved. It could even get approved before the end of 2023 at this point. Like the way things are going, that's possible. But what I'm saying is by the first quarter of 2024, before that's over, we're going to see that Bitcoin ETF approved at some point. So if that's 2023, the end of 2023, if that's the first quarter of 2024, whatever, we're going to see that Bitcoin ETF approved. Prediction number 8, though, is a lot less safe and a lot less consensus, and that's that I think we're going to see the ETH ETF approved by the end of 2024. Most people, I think, are expecting that ETF to maybe get approved by like 2026 or something. Like they're looking out a couple years for the ETH ETF. It's going to take a while, but I'm saying it's going to get approved by the end of 2024. The people that I've like listened to or talked with that kind of know more about that space, they believe that's going to get approved by the end of 2024 as well. They say it's going to actually happen pretty quick after the Bitcoin ETF gets approved. We're going to see the ETH ETF approved. Prediction number 9 is we're going to see some major breakout hits in the crypto gaming sector that penetrate into mainstream with some of the largest streamers on the planet streaming some of these games in 2024. And I'm actually shocked that more people don't believe this. It seems so obvious to me that crypto gaming is primed to be massive in 2024, but I've talked to people and like they get like almost angry when you say that crypto gaming is going to be huge because they believe so strongly that that is such an absurd thing to say. And maybe that's because like they can't imagine imagine what crypto gaming could be. They think of like Axie, they think of play to earn games, and they're like, that'll never be huge. However, I've seen some of the amazing games that are coming out. I've talked to teams like Shrapnel, Perion, Alluvium, and just what their views are on the crypto gaming sector. And all of them have like this deep conviction that it is the future of gaming, and that we're going to see some massive hits in 2024. And so I believe the same thing. We're going to see massive crypto gaming hits in 2024. That's what I'm saying. Prediction number 10 is that we're going to see at least one crypto game break into the top 10 games on the planet in either 2024 or 2025. And this is another one that I just have absolute conviction in. I can't commit to it being in 2024 specifically because of the way that these games are launching. I just don't know if there's enough runway specifically in 2024 for it to gain that momentum enough. But I'm saying 2024 or 2025, over that 2-year time period, top 10 game on the planet. We're going to see it. Prediction number 11 kind of goes with the last two, and that's that I think crypto gaming is going to bring a ton of new users into the crypto space in the same way that NFTs did during the last cycle. Obviously, if I'm right on the other two, then this one just makes sense. Like crypto gamers are going to kind of bleed into the crypto sector. Maybe not all of them. I think there will be some that just like they play the game, but they're not interested in crypto. But I think there's a percentage of those people that are going to become users of crypto and start doing things on chain. Prediction number 12, and this is one that nobody is talking about as far as I know, and that's I think that Polygon is going to see a lot more attention on their ecosystem because of what they're building around unified liquidity. And I would even compare it to like the attention that Solana is receiving right now, where everyone's talking about Solana is the next great thing. It's amazing. I think we're going to see a similar kind of like just bull run in the Polygon ecosystem because of everything that they're building. If Polygon succeeds at like what they're building, like it fixes so many different issues in the crypto space. And again, nobody's talking about it. I don't know why. Nobody's talking about what Polygon's building, but it's massively bullish for the space as a whole, makes the user experience so much better. And I think the market's going to correct this. People are going to start to notice what they're building. We're going to see that in 2024. Prediction number 13 is that I think we're going to see Kraken announce a layer 2 on Polygon. Coinbase already has announced a layer 2 on the OP stack. We have OKX. They've announced a layer 2 on Polygon. And I think Kraken is also going to go with Polygon. I don't think they're going to go with Optimism because like they don't have maybe the same sway that Coinbase does. Like Coinbase has massive user base. Kraken's is big, but not as big as Coinbase. Coinbase kind of like can build out its own little ecosystem over here. I don't see Kraken sitting on the sidelines and not launching their own L2. I think they're going to launch their own L2, and I think they're going to launch it on Polygon. Prediction 14 is that we're going to see a massive amount of airdrops in 2024. And I know we've seen a lot of airdrops over 2023, but I think it's going to pale in comparison to the amount of airdrops we're going to see in 2024 because there's just been so many different projects sitting on the sidelines waiting to launch a token. And I think 2024 is going to be the like prime season where like things feel right again. And so they're going to start launching all those tokens, and we're just going to see a crazy amount of airdrops in 2024. Prediction 15 is that NFTs make an insane comeback in either 2024 or 2025. I can't really, it could be like late 2024 we see it, but I'm kind of leaning more towards maybe 2025. And this just has to do with like the wealth effect, right? Like as more people are making more money and feeling richer in crypto, inevitably they're going to want to flex it. They're going to go buy some NFT somewhere. And so once people feel rich, they're going to start buying NFTs, and NFTs are going to make a massive comeback. Prediction number 16 is that Polygon outperforms Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana in terms of growth in 2024 and 2025 overall as a whole. So I can't really settle on like it'll be specifically 2024 or 2025. Sometimes things take a little bit longer than you anticipate them to, but I'm saying over the next 2 years, Polygon will outperform Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin in terms of price appreciation. And I don't even have like that big of bags on Polygon, and my bags are bigger on Ethereum and my bags are bigger on Solana. But I'm looking for assets on Polygon because I know, I feel very strongly that Polygon is primed to outperform. And just again, it's something that nobody's paying attention to right now. And I kind of like to pay attention to the things that people aren't paying attention to because that's usually where the opportunity lies, right? If everyone's talking about it, then there's usually not very much opportunity. But if nobody's talking about it, sometimes you could potentially find that opportunity, and I think I have with Polygon. So I think they're going to actually outperform Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana in 2024, 2025 over that 2-year time frame. Prediction number 17, this one's kind of obvious, and that's that by this time next year, I think everyone is going to be interested in crypto again. When Bitcoin passes old all-time high, I think retail is going to finally be like, whoa, what's going on here? They're not really noticing what's going on in crypto right now. I've talked to people that are like not a part of the space. They don't even know Bitcoin's at 40,000. They're usually shocked when I tell them that. So retail's not back yet, but I'm saying by this time next year, retail is finally interested in crypto again. Prediction number 18, I think this one might rub a few people the wrong way. I think that Binance Chain is never going to return to its former glory. Instead, I think that things like Solana, Avalanche, all the layer 2, so Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, etc., are going to take market share away from Binance, which was kind of like the cheap chain last season. Things like Base are going to take it away. So I think there's just so many other avenues now where people can get those really cheap fees, those really fast transactions. I think that BNB chain doesn't really have a space anymore. And so I think it's never going to return to its former glory over this next cycle period. I think people are going to try. I think there's going to be like maybe a few little things that you kind of see pop off, but overall as a whole, it never returns to its former glory. And I think that glory kind of gets taken from Binance by things like, again, Base, Polygon, Avalanche, Solana, etc. Prediction number 19 is that I think that Ethereum's revenue will 3x or more to over $7 billion in 2024. Ethereum's settlement layer is massively profitable currently, and it has been pretty much all during the bear market. And I think that's going to continue and ramp up as momentum shifts into the crypto space. Overall, as far as Ethereum settlement layer, I see mostly whales and L2s as the primary users moving forward, as gas prices will go insanely high over 2024. And I just don't think that retail or the average user is going to be using Ethereum settlement layer. Instead, I think they're going to opt to use Ethereum's L2s and other chains where fees are not astronomical. But even still, because L2s and these whales and different people are still using Ethereum, even right now, everyone's hating on Ethereum and they're praising Solana. Even still, Ethereum's fees are massive because people are still using it. And so I think those fees are just going to continue to climb, and Ethereum is going to produce over $7 billion in revenue over 2024. Prediction number 20 is that Ethereum's L2s continue to gain market share. I know right now that everyone's saying Ethereum's dead, but I think that's just a fad. I think that's just because Solana's price pumped and all the tokens on Solana pumped, and so everyone's super excited because it made them rich, but then they'll rotate into whatever else makes them rich and be excited about that. So I think this is just a fad, and I think these L2s will continue to gain market share over 2024. Like I just said, I think less and less people are going to actually use Ethereum settlement layer, and they're going to opt to use the layer 2s because it's just a much better user experience, and nobody likes paying $300 fees. So Ethereum's L2s will gain more and more market share as time goes on, and as exchanges like Coinbase, OKX, and Kraken, etc., start pushing their users, or hundreds of millions of users, on chain to their own L2s built on Ethereum. 3 more predictions to go. Prediction 21 is I think that we'll see DAI, Frax, and USDC grow their market share and Tether lose market share over 2024. And the reason I believe this is because like other stablecoins like DAI, they share the yield to their users, so that's just more attractive. There's a lot of government attention on Tether that's kind of negative, and just in general market sentiment towards Tether has kind of always been negative. So I think 2024, we're going to start to see some of these other stablecoins really shine, and Tether finally start losing some of that market share. I also think stablecoin use is going to continue to grow, and we're going to see it surpass its old all-time high at some point in either 2024 and 2025. Prediction 22 is that Cosmos is going to finally gain some market share and really start to see some cohesiveness in its ecosystem, some increased growth, increased adoption, and really start to gain some momentum. Prediction 23, overall 2024 and 2025 are going to be very bullish for crypto, and we're going to see a massive bull run similar to what we saw in 2021. A year from now, we'll get to see how many of these predictions I end up getting right. I'll do another update video in 2024. As always, none of this is investment advice. None of this is me telling you what to do. You should always do your own research, and blindly copying YouTubers is a dumb way to invest. If this video was helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any predictions of your own, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.